You are listening to the Across the Campus podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Across the Campus, your Mid-American and Big Ten Conference podcast. I'm your host, Alex the Captain. Joining me, as always, my partner in crime, AJ the Guru.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
All right, AJ, welcome back. This has been a
Yes.
topsy-turvy week.
And because of that, I'm making myself an alcoholic beverage right now.
I'm very proud of you.
Because what the NCAA has done to you and I is worth drinking over.
Yes, absolutely. I will be making mine shortly after we finish this episode with my dinner.
There you go.
So
I'm already 3 deep, so I'm ahead of you a little bit.
just a little bit. So we have a lot to talk about today. I think initially we were going to use today as a kind of a MAC championship preview podcast, but some other things have happened, and I think we need to address a few other things.
I would say so, yeah. We, as our fans know, or may have heard early on, we were supposed to go be in Cleveland here Saturday morning for the men's and women's MAC championship round. And it turns out that's not the case.
Not anymore.
No.
Thank you, coronavirus.
Exactly. Well, then it was funny, too. You and I were talking earlier. Since you're still going to come to Fort Wayne this weekend and we'll do St. Patrick's Day, you go, hey, let's go to the Big Ten Championship. That's not an Indy. Well, that's not going to happen anymore either. So, where to begin? I'm going to begin by pouring a Pink Whitney right now. I don't know if you've had one of those yet or not.
I have not.
No,
sounds like something you're going to have to pour me this weekend.
Absolutely. Barstool Sports came out with it with New Amsterdam. It's a pink lemonade vodka. It's phenomenal.
Okay.
And you mix that with a little Sprite or 7-Up, whatever you're feeling. And it's not bad. Not bad at all. So, but yeah, back to Cleveland. Back to our plans that are so long gone now. I believe it was yesterday the MAC conference announced that they were not going to be allowing fans into the arena, into Rocket Mortgage Arena. I don't know if that was so much the MAC or the NCAA who came down with that ruling, but either way, no fans permitted. The only people permitted were players, team staff, media, and essential personnel. And we are not essential personnel, not yet.
One day
we will be. That's the goal. And so, yeah, you sent me a tweet earlier from the women's quarterfinal round, and there looked to be about 10 people in the stands.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to hurt I think it's definitely going to hurt the NCAA in so many ways.
In more ways than just revenue, I think. That's the big one, obviously.
Because either way, they're still getting paid their TV contracts. You know, the games are still going to be on TV. You know, they're still going to get paid that TV money. But, you know, the beer money, the popcorn money, the ticket sales, which obviously they're going to be refunding those, which I'm assuming you've got that taken care of already.
Yeah.
Now, where did you get yours through?
So I went directly through Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Okay.
Cool. They had a thing for the MAC tournament where you could. So we were actually going to do the Hops and Hoops tickets.
Yeah.
For those who know the MAC, they were doing a $20 ticket for the men's game where you got a seat and a free adult beverage for the game. So that was going to be what we were going to work with. And unfortunately, it just looks like that's obviously not a thing anymore. But fortunately, they were offering a refund in one of two forms. Do a refund and apply it to next year's MAC tournament, which, I mean, tickets were, we could get tickets for that, no problem. Or
I would love if well, of course, it's not going to be in Cleveland, but if it was through the MAC, I would love if they would put that towards the MAC football championship.
That would have been cool. That would have been really cool. But then they also offered a full refund directly to your credit card or debit card, whatever. And so I opted for that option because we were going to be joined by a good friend of mine and a friend of the show, Graham and his wife. We were going to be joined for the men's game. And I asked them if they wanted to apply it. They said no. I figured we would just return it and use it for this weekend ourselves.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, that's really kind of a bummer. And as you know, it started off yesterday with the Ivy League canceling their entire tournament, and then today canceling all of their spring sports. I don't know if you saw that or not. So, baseball, track, golf, whatever sports they have, they aren't playing this spring. And I think that's a little too much right there.
I think
I
that's
mean,
a little extreme. Yeah.
I think so too, and I think at some point there's going to be enough uproar to where baseball might play half a season or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's a little too much. Then obviously the MAC came out yesterday and said that they were not going to be hosting any patrons, any viewers in the arena. The Big Ten Conference came out today and said the same thing, even though they said less than 24 hours ago they were still going on as planned
Yep.
down in Indianapolis. And here's the funny thing too: there are more cases of this virus in Indianapolis alone than there is in the entire state of Ohio.
Yeah.
But
Ohio's
that's
pretty locked down right now. Like, I mean,
exactly.
I think you sent me the Toledo Walleye literally after saying yesterday they were going to allow fans in. No fans for tonight's game. Just absolutely mind-blowing.
Absolutely. And I was talking to a buddy of mine who's from the Columbus area. His sister I think they won their first round of playoffs, but got beat in the second round. And he had texted me saying, where'd he go to? Where'd he say that's at? Because he and I are supposed to go to Chicago in a few weeks for a long weekend. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, this thing better, clear up because Chicago canceled their St. Patty's Day parade and festival
Yes,
and all
they
that stuff
did.
tomorrow. And so I go, yeah. He told me that Dublin canceled their festival and whatnot. And he goes, high school regionals and state basketball, they're only allowing family at the high
Yeah.
school level. And so I had told him, we were the same thing with the MAC championship and whatnot. And for these high school kids, for these small town teams, it's kind of it's tough for them to go play. I don't know where they do state at. Do they do it at Ohio State?
Yeah, they do it down at Ohio State.
Do they? Okay. So they're gonna be playing the shot with nobody there besides your family and some friends.
Well, and
Not even friends.
Well, exactly. Well, I just saw something interesting. I was actually talking to a buddy of mine earlier. So what the athletic departments, at least some of them are doing, are each player are being given 4 tickets.
Mm.
And so those players can give those tickets to whoever. And then coaches are being given 2 tickets. So
okay.
they're limiting it to the 4 tickets for if you wanted to bring your family down, whatever. So they're going to have a few fans, but I saw something earlier. The Napoleon girls team is making the state semifinals for the first time ever, and they are going to have to refund almost 2,000 tickets.
Yes, that was tweeted out by what's his name from Toledo.
Oh, Jordan Strack, that's right.
Jordan
Yeah.
Strack, yep, because I saw that too. And Napoleon's a one stoplight town, and so that's brutal for them. And then that tweet I sent you earlier, it was Villanova North Carolina national championship when it was voiced over with practice.
Yeah.
That was hysterical because that's how it's actually going to be.
Fantastic. Oh, 100%.
And so we're looking over here, and I think the Big Ten allowed people today, but starting off tomorrow, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how I read it. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out over the next couple weeks rather. Mm-hmm. Even college football is taking note of it. Cincinnati canceled their spring game. Ohio State has canceled their spring game now, just as of now. Ohio State 2020 spring game has been canceled due to the coronavirus outbreak. They've also stopped all on-campus recruiting visits as well. So this is kind of just, I don't know. It's the thing. It'll pass over, like everything else always does. But it's definitely going to take a toll here on the NCAA. Now, granted, it's not going to stop me from gambling on it. I'm still going to lose all my money on it, whatever. Because it's so interesting, too. I was talking about this at work with some friends. And when it comes down to the last-second shot, the big MO, the big momentum there is huge. And that's not, your water boy or water girl can't give you that momentum. And so, I don't know. It's just going to be so interesting watching a game, listening to Jim Nantz and Clark Kellogg, all those guys on CBS, Charles Barkley when they do things.
Well, they won't be screaming. They won't be screaming into their headsets. They'll be able to, have a real conversation.
Yeah, just like you and I do.
Yeah.
It's not going to be any different. And so, it really does hurt, too, for those smaller teams that get in. Obviously the brackets won't come out until Sunday, right?
Sunday night, I believe.
Sunday night. Well, I think something like 4:00 on Sunday or something like that. So
because all the tournament champions should be done.
Yeah. Well, maybe you and I can do a live podcast during it.
That'd be
since
cool.
you'll be here. That'd be a
Well,
lot
no,
of fun.
I'm gonna be there Saturday.
Well, it's
I'm not
Sunday.
Well, no, Sunday I've got work again,
Oh, that's a bummer.
right?
So
But maybe we could do something. We could maybe,
we can do
we'll figure it
something.
out.
Yeah. And so it's a lot to take in, it's a lot to understand, and it's a lot of, I think at this point it's just everybody covering their rear ends. You know, I know
Mhm.
they don't want to do it and they know that's kind of an kind of outstretching of it, but I think they're just doing it to cover their rear ends, which makes sense in the long run.
100%.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe for some crazy reason they allow people into the national championship. Who knows? Which would be great.
Yeah, that's
But
only
at the end
what,
of the day,
3.5 weeks away.
yeah. So we'll see. It's
It'll be
a lot can
nuts.
change in that time. Just make sure people wash their hands. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, that's the big thing is, right? I mean, it's obviously a national health concern. You know, I know that I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think Italy has like a bunch of crazy confirmed cases and like
Yeah,
it's
they've
pretty
shut down the entire
catastrophic.
country.
Yeah, it's pretty catastrophic. And I was talking to somebody earlier about this, like, and I think it may have been you that I mentioned this to as well. Some crazy team is going to win this whole thing this year
Oh yeah.
because, and I think somebody had a take on Twitter about it, about, you know, the better teams or the better team's going to win. That never happens in college basketball anyway. It's called March
No.
Madness for a reason. You know, there's no
You mean to tell me
better
Loyola,
team.
Chicago was the best team in that tournament that year? Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, no,
Or
absolutely
Butler a
not.
couple years ago.
And they just, I mean, they got hot at the right time. Well, that was the thing is Loyola, their fans travel really well. My buddy Graham was telling me about this. Their fans traveled really well to make that Final Four run or that Elite Eight run, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think though what we're gonna see is we're gonna see two things. We're gonna see these schools come out and they're like, all right, cool, we're gonna play some basketball, and that's gonna be it. That's the focus. Or we're going to see these big schools struggle against these little schools who are now super focused because they don't have Duke fans screaming in their face, go back to wherever, screw you. You know, both schools are going to have the chance to really be focused and not worry about that fan base. And I think that's so critical for smaller schools, especially for schools like from the MAC. You know, we've got so many great teams in the MAC that now don't have to worry about Duke fans or, you know, any of those big school fans. They can just go and play basketball. And I think that's going to be a hard adjustment for a lot of those big schools. And I think we'll see more first round upsets than we have in a while.
I think so too. I think that first and second round are going to be super, super interesting because, you know, those big schools,
they feed off those fans.
They feed off that, yeah. So, here's something else also. Check this out. This is a Woj bomb that came out about 6 minutes ago. Breaking. After undergoing tests prior to tonight's Utah versus Oklahoma City game, Jazz center Rudy Gobert has been diagnosed with coronavirus, and the league sources have confirmed to ESPN. They are evacuating the arena as we speak.
Wow.
He literally, Yeah, right here.
Okay, yeah, I can hear it.
Due to unforeseen circumstances, the game tonight has been postponed. You are all safe. And take your time in leaving the arena tonight and do so in an orderly fashion. Thank you for coming out tonight. We are all safe. And you can visit OKCThunder.com for updates on upcoming games. Please drive home safely.
What an awkward announcement to make.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's credit to Rob Perez here on Twitter, Worldwide Wob. Yeah, that's strange to say the least. I've never heard a thing like that. Here's the video too of Jazz and Thunder's players being sent back to the locker room. Like, I don't know.
I get the concern of being safe for the public. I really do, and I appreciate it. I appreciate that people are looking out for the general public. But I gotta be really honest with you. Personally, I'm just super upset about it because I was really looking forward to going to Cleveland.
Right.
But
you and I have been planning this for a while.
Yeah, this has been ongoing for a little over a month. Like, yeah, even before we had Ricky Stokes on the show, this has been something that we've been really talking about for a while.
And that's one thing I'm bummed out about too, is we won't be able to get to meet him.
Yeah. Next time. I'm actually I'll email him this week, say, sorry we couldn't make it to Cleveland, obviously with everything going on, and see about maybe getting a chance to do lunch with him and a tour of the Mac office or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun with that. But yeah, so guys, there's got to be something else going on in the sports world besides this. Hit me with something.
Well, baseball opening days are being threatened right now.
Yeah, they are. I saw Seattle. They're not going to play at home for a while.
No.
I think that came out today.
Yeah, that did come out today. That was big news.
The Packers released Jimmy Graham.
They did. I saw that. Yeah.
They did. Yeah, I'm not really surprised by that. He's been kind of down the past couple of years.
The one that you didn't. No, you did talk about it. I was going to say the NCAA tournament. The whole tournament's going to be played no fans. The Warriors are going to play with no fans for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be an entire NBA thing also.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be the case. There was a player or a soccer player. I can't remember who it was, but he tested positive for it. I think it was in Italy. He tested positive for it. Hell, I don't know. Literally, you go through Twitter, you go through Instagram, and you go through Facebook. It's the entire feed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's literally it. And you and I talked about early on when we were planning our trips. You coming down here for the women's regional round, which is going to be in Fort Wayne.
Right.
Well, obviously that's been compromised by this. And we also, Fort Wayne is hosting the Division III men's tournament as well. So being under NCAA sanctions, under a ruling rather, nobody's going to be there. So really, and I work in broadcast media, broadcast sales, and we have, March Madness packages going out to businesses and things like that to help them or to help promote them during that time.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though you're not allowed to say March Madness. I don't know if we're allowed to. I'm sure we are. We're a podcast. But
Right.
on radio, you can't say March Madness. You have to say like the big game or the days of games or something. It's really bad. The wording is terrible.
Yeah,
because
it's
March
awful.
Madness is trademarked. So you can't say that in a radio ad or radio broadcast, rather. But we have these packages going out to local businesses, trying to get them business, because hotels, restaurants, bars, casinos, things like that. Well, these people aren't going to be coming. So it's really going to hurt like the local economy, especially for smaller towns like Fort Wayne. Not so much like the LAs of the world, the Portlands of the world, the Clevelands of the world, because for one event they have going on, there's 12 other going on at the same time.
Exactly.
So they'll be all right. But I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see here at the end of March, or not even at the end of March, or the first round of the tournament, honestly, to see what it's like, how the fan or how things are just. I don't know. It's hard to describe because it's something I've never seen, you've never seen, nobody's ever seen, and it's something you didn't think you would see either. It's one of those things where it's like, we've survived Ebola, we've survived bird flu,
swine flu,
mad cow, North Korea about to nuke us.
We
survived it all. So I don't know. It was funny. I saw a tweet the other day. I'll see if I can find it. I might have taken a screenshot of it, honestly. But it was like all the things we've survived over the years. The list was a mile long. It was a bunch of things that people did.
Yeah, I think you sent that to me.
It's what people get riled up about.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, while we're here, okay, so I do have to kind of laugh. I'm looking at, and we can kind of cover some MAC tournament stuff right now, but I'm looking at the attendance for the game for the women, the Toledo women versus the Central Michigan women. 5% capacity was filled. Less than 1,000 people there for this game.
That's insane.
960 people there, and that's counting essential staff and then family fans, and that's who was there. 960 people.
Wow.
Just absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's like, I'm looking here. Obviously, the MAC conference started today, and so or starts tonight rather. Ball State and Kent State at 9 o'clock. That started now, actually, 9 o'clock. Or that's tomorrow. My bad. That's tomorrow. But I
Well,
also
you want to talk about the other Ball State team today?
Yeah, well, I prefer not to, but since we are the Mid-American Conference podcast, we can
kinda
talk about
have
them
to.
last. Ohio, they handed it to Western Michigan 84-75
They
in the
did.
quarter round. That seemed to be a fairly close game, really, up until the fourth quarter. And Ohio was able to kind of scratch that one out there. Toledo, they beat number one seeded Central, or excuse me, I can't even talk today. Central Michigan, 78-71. The upset of the tournament here so far. Central Michigan was 23-7, Toledo 14-7. And then we go to the other upset here. Ball State drops one to Eastern Michigan, 64-63.
Mm-hmm.
Ball State was ranked number 2 seed, sitting there at 21-10, and Eastern sitting there at 16-15. Ball State led. No, they didn't even leave at halftime. They led at the end of the first quarter, and that was just about it.
Yeah.
If you look at the box scores here. Ariana Combs for Eastern Michigan led with 23 points, and Sydney Freeman for the Cardinals had 17. And it's so funny, too, because I don't know any of these people because they all came to school after I graduated. So I don't know anybody there anymore. But looking at the box score here, Ball State's leading scorer was Freeman was 17. They only had 15 bench points. That hurts.
Yeah.
When you have your starters with 9, 4, 7, 17, and 11, and you only get 15 off the bench, that's tough. Eastern Michigan only had 10 points off the bench, but they had 2 scorers and doubled it with over 20 at 23, then 1 with 11, and 2 starters with 0 points. So it's got to be turnovers. It's got to be bad shot selection. It could be a wide variety of things here. Let's look at the turnovers here, actually. Ball State Cardinals with 16 turnovers. Eastern Michigan, 11. 14 fouls for the Cardinals, 15 for Eastern Michigan. And Ball State only had 7 assists on the night, with Eastern having 11. Rebounds, 33 for the Cardinals, 34 for Eastern. Free throw percentage, 78% for Eastern, and 72% for the Cardinals. Looking at three-point percentage, 35% for the Cardinals, 33 for the Eastern. Ball State was only 6-17 from three-point land, 5-15 for Eastern. So these are numbers too that are interesting. Field goals, Ball State was 22-51 and Eastern was 24-60. So they both got up a lot of shots, but Eastern was able to get up just 2 more, and that that on top of the 3-pointers here really kind of did the Cardinals in.
Yeah, absolutely. The 3-pointers was essentially their kryptonite for this, and it's crazy to think about that Eastern Michigan just came out ready to play this game. I was listening to the post-game interview, and the coach gets on there and he says, we knew that this game wasn't going to be a basketball game. It was going to be a boxing match, and we just had to have the final punch. And the girls came out. They really came out and they punched away and they chipped away and they got the win. And I think watching that game, that was a fairly accurate assessment. I mean, nobody was really getting an edge on anybody. They were trading blows back and forth. That scoreline was pretty close throughout most of that game, and I was pretty impressed more with Eastern given the seeding, but I was pretty impressed with how both teams just didn't give up.
Yeah. And obviously the final score there was kind of a tribute to that. We're going to shift gears here real quick. One of the bars I'm going to take you to this weekend, Deer Park Irish Pub. Fantastic place here in town. On their Facebook, it says, yes, we are still celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Yes, the tents will be open all weekend. Yes, we have lots of beer. No, we are not going to change the event. Yes, we are excited to celebrate with you all. No, we are not changing the event. Yes, you can keep asking about it. No, the answer will not change. We are still partying. Yes, we will still see you this weekend. Plus, with all this negativity, that's a bright spot.
Absolutely. Honestly, I think that's a huge thing for the people of Fort Wayne and just that area. It's going to be good to get a chance, unwind. All right, let's move past some of this hysteria from this coronavirus, and let's just try to return to some normalcy. Now, that being said, I do want everybody out there to be safe. Don't get sick. Please wash your hands, like AJ said earlier. Just make sure you're taking care of the things you need to take care of.
It's very simple.
So
well then,
that
so I saw you texted to me yesterday, but
yes.
UT they're canceling face-to-face classes.
Yep.
Akron did, Ohio State did, and Ball State they canceled them all the way to the end of the semester.
So I've seen a couple schools doing that. Ohio Northern University canceled face-to-face through the end of the semester.
I think Dayton did too.
Yeah, Dayton did as well. I think Heidelberg College up here did as well. And the thing so for those who don't know, I'm a music major at the University of Toledo. And my biggest question is what happens to all those lessons? What happens to those ensemble rehearsals? It's that they just disappear. Nothing's going to get accomplished for the rest of the semester. It's easy to do like music theory over, FaceTime or whatever, or like stats or, any of these other classes. But classes that require face-to-face instruction, you take a step back almost, even like the clinicals, those kids are going to get so much less experience and be a little less prepared. Just looking at it across everything. For every major, there's some kind of face-to-face requirement that is cheapened by this misadventure.
Absolutely. I saw too many kids are just packing up and going home, and I don't blame them. Hell, if I was living in a dorm, I'd rather go home too.
Absolutely.
And then Dayton kids last night were partying, and then I don't know if you saw they got pepper sprayed and pepper balled by the cops.
I did see that.
I would party too. Why not?
Yeah. So, you have no classes or no classes you have to attend anymore.
And Dayton's notorious too for street block parties. Yeah. I mean, they've done it. I've seen them burn couches and flip cars. I've seen it all. They did a couple years ago after the tournament. Mm-hmm. And so, it's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, I wish we had something more to talk about, but in the NFL world, there's not a whole lot going on right now. Free agency starts on Monday, I believe. So,
that'll be a big one. That's got depending on what happens with who. With Tom Brady being kind of the headliner, I think.
Yeah.
That one's going to be a really, really big thing. I guess we could kind of talk about tomorrow's slate of games for both the MAC and the Big Ten.
Let's do it. Yeah. And I hate how it starts at 9:00 tomorrow night too. That's stupid.
It's so dumb.
Like, I'm in bed by 9:00.
Well, exactly. Like I mean, tomorrow night I'm probably going to stay up a little bit later because I don't work on Friday. But like I'm just going to go over the Big Ten here really quick, and then I'll let you dive into the MAC. We got Big Ten, Michigan taking on Rutgers at 12:00 p.m. That is – I don't think Michigan takes this one. I really don't. I think Rutgers has been too good all year, and I think Michigan has been so up and down. You got Juwan Howard in his first year as a head coach. I just think Rutgers has been far better than what their record shows, and – it's Rutgers' chance to shine. Michigan takes it to them on the football field. It's their turn to extract revenge on the basketball court.
And what's going to be so interesting about this Big Ten tournament is it's a neutral site. Because Big Ten teams have been dominant at home, except Northwestern and Nebraska, who Nebraska's actually playing right now against IU.
Yep.
But those are the only two teams that, of course, they weren't good in general, but Big Ten dominated home games.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be very interesting, too. Because if you look at it, too, Indianapolis is centrally located to where it's not that far from Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State, Northwestern.
Right.
It's their fans are going to travel either way because it's not that far. But, yeah, being the records the Big Ten teams had at home and playing down there at Bankers Life, which is a phenomenal place to see a game and play. I've been out there multiple times. It's cool. Now, it would be really cool if they were to play this game like Hinkle.
That'd be cool.
That would be so much fun.
That would be super cool. I remember a couple
years ago they alternated between Indianapolis and Chicago. But I think it's going to stick in Indianapolis because of just how good of a job Indy does.
Indy does a great job, and then the football tournament is there as well, or the football championship. Like, it just makes they probably just signed a multiple year contract with the city. Like, hey, host our big tournaments for us. Like, here you go.
They do a phenomenal job.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, but today, though, in the Big Ten, Minnesota, they knocked off Northwestern 74-57.
Yes,
and then right now at halftime, IU is up on Nebraska 43-34. And did you see Nebraska brought on 2 football players to the roster?
I did see that. I couldn't believe it.
Right, one was like 6'7", 300 pounds.
Yeah, dude was just massive. They needed a big man,
Big boy. So the winner of this game will go on and play Penn State tomorrow.
Good luck.
Right, And then speaking of tomorrow, as you mentioned, we got Michigan and Rutgers. We got Iowa and Minnesota. That's going to be a really good game, I think.
See, I don't think it'll be a good game. I really think Iowa is clicking at the right time. Iowa's going to take it to Minnesota. You're talking about neutral site. Both of these teams are going to be treating this like it's a practice because there's no fans. There's going to be no distinct fan advantage. So I think I think Iowa's going to show they're the better team. Honestly, I really do.
Well, the 15-11 versus a 15 and 16. That should be an interesting one. Then we got tomorrow night at 6:30, the Buckeyes taking on the Boilermakers of Purdue. The Buckeyes are 21-10. Purdue is 16-15. This is one of those games. Also, it's kind of a home game for Purdue. Not being West Lafayette's not that far from Indy, but nowhere is Columbus, and Columbus travels. But then again, what's it matter? No fans are allowed anyway. So I think Buckeyes split with Purdue. I think this year. If I remember
that
correctly.
Sounds right. Yeah,
I think they'll split with them. So. That will be a good one, I think. We'll move over here to the MAC real quick. Because of course, tomorrow night. I believe on Friday night, are we still doing with Beard Brothers?
So that's I think the plan was to still do something with the Beard Brothers.
Okay.
I mean, we can obviously reach out to them. So this is something else that got screwed up for our listeners.
Yeah.
We were going to be doing a in-person joint show with the Beard Brothers Fantasy Football Podcast. And that kind of got altered because of everything going on. Yep. So we're trying to figure out how to do that. I think we're still going to try to call in and make something work, but it's not going to be the show we wanted it to be.
Sure. So, we talked about going to a local establishment, eating wings, drinking beer, and talking sports, and that was kind of like what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
But that'd be something fun to do during football season, though. I think we could definitely make that happen, or go to a tailgate.
Absolutely.
Have you guys down to Muncie, or go up there for a football game, or go to Southern for a football game, something like that. That'd be a lot of fun to do.
That'd be a lot of fun. I think we could do something maybe for the draft as well.
Sure.
Get together with them, We'll figure it out. But we are planning on delivering a joint show with for you guys. We really like them. They like us. And we're going to put together something really special for you guys.
Sure. So. And, we like to tease our listeners here on this podcast. Our podcast and their podcast, we do have some exciting news coming up. So stay tuned for that. Absolutely. That will be a lot of fun to that collaboration. I think will be a lot of fun. We've been trying to do something with them for a while now. And, of course, our stars aligned, and then the NCAA decided to blow the stars up. So, but going into tomorrow, tomorrow for the MAC, let's see here. The early game tomorrow, noon rather, is Akron and Ohio. That could be a really good high-scoring game. Akron's favored by 4.5, but I still think that's going to be a good high-scoring game. Let me scroll down here, see if they released some of the numbers here. I go down here, captivity, 19,432, and that will not be the case.
No.
They haven't released any numbers for it, or over-unders, things like that. So that's the noon game tomorrow on ESPN+. Then you go to the 2:30 game. Miami of Ohio takes on Northern Illinois. I think Northern Illinois has that one in the bag. Miami lost a tough one last week. They lost one to, who was that? Buffalo.
They lost. No, they beat Buffalo.
They beat Buffalo.
To get
they beat Buffalo and lost to Buffalo. That's what it was. They lost to Ohio, too. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So, yeah, I think Northern Illinois Huskies are going to have that one in the bag. We go to the 6:30 game tomorrow. Battle for I-75, Toledo and BG.
For me for this one, I'm excited for this one because I really think, I don't want to say Toledo's going to win this one, but I think that it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in a season.
Sure, and they're only favored by 1.5.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting. Then we go up here to the late game. Of course, the 9 o'clock game I will not be up for.
Sure.
Ball State and Kent State. But Kent State's favored by 1 point. That's a 9:30 tip-off. Kent State Golden Flashes sitting there at 20-12. Ball State Cardinals 18-13. Anything. But then again, it's a tournament. Anything can go. We saw it today with the Ball State girls and the Central Michigan girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
1 and 2 seeds both went down. 2 teams that dominated the MAC this year both went down in the first round. So, that's, who knows at this point. But yeah, that's what we've got for the MAC, the Mid-American Conference, and the Big Ten coming up tomorrow. hopefully I don't have a whole lot going on at work, so I can watch a few things at my desk.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see here. And of course, the thing is, too, all these games tomorrow are on BTN, and in the Big Ten, they're all on BTN.
Yep.
So, and then MAC is all ESPN Plus, I believe.
Yeah,
So
that's been easy enough to follow.
yeah, absolutely.
I get fortunate. We have big TVs at work that I just throw the games up on, and
Makes
so
sense.
I can follow along everything pretty easily. So
That makes sense.
yeah, it's been fun. Like I said, it's been really weird watching these games with no fans. We even flipped over to the Mid-Atlantic Athletic Conference, I think is what it is. And it was Siena versus Manhattan. No fans. Like, it's just everybody's doing this. It's just so wild to see. It's just absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, and it's gonna be so interesting too when you get to like the big teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the big time teams who have the big time followings, and it's gonna be fun too because you'll be able to hear coaches yelling at their players.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to hear what these coaches are gonna be yelling, how many F-bombs are gonna be dropped, and things like that. It's gonna be so funny.
Oh, absolutely. I think, well, and for me, I was sitting here and I was kind of laughing at yesterday's Twitter, right? You know, how the MAC tweeted out that thing, and you start seeing all these other Twitters kind of follow suit. Like the MAC's like, hey, this is canceled, and then the Big Ten Twitter, hey, this, the athletic or the ACC Twitter, hey, this, like, and I was just following all these tweets, and like you said earlier, the whole thing is just, you know, coronavirus. It's just
and it's one of those
absolutely
things
mind
too, where
blowing.
nobody really knows how to make sense of it because
Right.
it's one of those things where we've never dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as it doesn't affect my Corona beer, we're good.
Right.
So we'll see.
But yeah, no, I think it's going to be really interesting. Like, I don't want to do any big tournament predictions yet because we don't know the field. Obviously, we have to wait and see what happens there. But I think we're in the 81 history of the NCAA tournament, we're in for the weirdest tournament we've ever seen.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's definitely gonna be an interesting one to see how teams handle practicing on live TVs, essentially playing scrimmage games on live TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I always think about too, like when I was thinking about this the other day, when they started talking about canceling these games, I think of semi-pro when they're announcing games and like 5 people in the stands. That's exactly where my mind went. And also, I think I sent out a tweet the other day, and I texted you. It did not get enough credit it deserved.
No, it really did not.
That was my Space Jam tweet saying the Monstars taking the talents of the professionals was coronavirus before it was a thing. And I got like
really
3 likes. I was very upset about that.
Well, I was one of those likes, so I'm glad I get some credit here.
I thought
but
that
no,
was a
it's so true.
Tweet.
It was absolutely perfect.
And speaking of that too, fans, people, follow me on Twitter. I need to get my numbers up. I'm at Ruffling55, and you're at Captain Sheer America.
Yeah.
We need to get our follows up. And also
I'm probably
follow
gonna
our Twitter page. What are we at Across the Campus?
Yeah, at Across the Campus. People. Yeah, please follow us. Please share us. We occasionally like to post funny things, so we would love to get you guys to just share our information. Even if you don't agree with it, you could even retweet it and say, "These guys, listen to this take." You know, we don't care. We want you guys to help us grow, and we'll do our part, but you got to do your part. So please, 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 get us out there.
Absolutely. And you know our one rule also, if you're going to review us on iTunes, use the real name.
Yes, that's our big
rule here.
And I think people have gotten a little bit better about that. I've not seen anything crazy from anybody, but yeah, so I don't know. I'm just still I'm mind blown because we're going to miss out on all this great stuff we had planned for the weekend. It's just, I was really looking forward to this weekend. I mean, we'll make up for it. We'll have a good time in Fort Wayne, go bar hopping, but it's just, man, this weekend just went from great to great in a different way.
I had a feeling too the other day when they started saying this, like you and I were texting, we just kind of kept refreshing Twitter and the MAC page to see, okay, when are they going to announce it? And they finally did, like 5 o'clock or so. And yeah, so I don't know. This would maybe be a good time now to apply for credentials.
Hey, you know, I'll let you spearhead that. You know, they
Right,
can't
even though
they can't say no forever.
They can't say no twice. So,
But
all right,
yeah,
Parker, that's all I've got on my end. I don't know if you had anything.
I don't really have anything. We haven't done Mac trivia in a while. I know that we have not done that. I don't have anything this week, but we need to jump back on that train. So if you guys have any Mac trivia things that you want to try to stump us with, please send them our way. We'll read them on the air and say, courtesy of whoever, we want to give you guys credit. So if you think of anything about the Mac, send it our way. We want to make sure that if we aren't aware of it, we want to make sure that we become aware. So
Sure. And speaking of stumping, Stump the Schwab was such a great show back in the day.
oh my gosh, yes. Wow, I haven't thought about that show in years.
I saw something on Twitter about that the other day. I go, wow, that's a throwback to 2005.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. I remember being, in high school or whatever, and we'd watch that, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
this guy he just knows everything. He literally knows everything. It was so
Yeah.
dumb. So cool. Well, AJ, I think that's going to do it for us today. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We definitely appreciate the love and support from you guys. Keep sharing us. Keep getting our info out there. We really appreciate it. Also, if you get a chance, please check out the Beard Brothers Fantasy Football Podcast. They are our buddies. They are our beard cousins, if you will. They have a lot of great content. They're even doing some mock draft stuff now, starting to prepare for that. So please go give them a like, a listen, a follow. You can follow them on Twitter at Beard Brothers FF, I believe.
Yeah,
so
something like that. But
yeah,
follow us.
Follow
before
us.
you follow them.
Yes, follow us and then go follow them. You'll
Yes.
find them by following us. But check out ATB Sports. John Kaufman putting out bangers of articles. Dude's doing some really great stuff over there. So make sure you check his work out. Really awesome work. And yeah, AJ, I think that's going to do it for us. So anything else from you, man?
I think I'm all set, man. We covered a lot. Well, we covered a lot, but we didn't really cover a lot because it was the same topic the entire time.
That's
but also,
fine.
we do want to mention this too. We do want to ask our followers, what do you think about the quality of this podcast compared to the other ones? We're trying something different tonight. We're actually doing this over Skype.
Yeah.
On our headphones, it sounds better, but we also want to make sure it sounds better for you guys as well. So let us know what you think. If you like it, let us know. And maybe we can do some more video stuff with this as well as we get moving forward here. Like I said, this is the first time we've ever done this before. And we figured, too, since we wouldn't be talking a lot about a variety of things, it would be a great opportunity to try this. So let us know what you think. Tweet us, Facebook us. Don't email me because I don't respond.
It's
won't
true.
Respond either. So, or don't slide into my DMs. Yeah, it's annoying.
You can slide into mine.
Go for it. But yeah, let us know what you think because we are using, I'm using just my regular Beats headphones with a microphone on them right now. I think it sounds pretty good. And
Yeah.
so, but yeah, let us know what you think. And if it's something you guys like, we can continue to do it. And we can get more creative with this as well as we can post video and do more things with that and get you guys involved as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
I think it'd be fun to do a call-in show sometime with this too.
Yeah, I think so. That'd be really great. Give people the chance to call in and yell at us and tell us we're idiots.
We could do our own Stump the Schwab.
Hey, there we go.
We could do our
there
own
we go.
version.
Stump the Guru. We'll just have it all about you.
Absolutely.
So cool, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it, and we will see you guys next week.
See ya.